Stories have inspired the young and old for centuries. Their fairy tales bringing joy into minds and imaginations to life. Peter Pan, Tinker Bell, Cinderella and Snow White. Mermaids, tinderboxes, princes and peas. Storytellers observe. They interpret. They embellish. And they share the stories they find. The stories which enhance the reality surrounding them. It's through their listenings and understandings that stories are made. Tales are told, they are sung, they are performed, they are shared. All fictions lap at the shores of fact, and this story is no exception.
I will tell you about a little girl whose name was Louise Sophia Nicolai. She lived in a country called Denmark, and she lived in a very good family, and they lived in an extremely good penthouse because all the richer people lived at the top of the buildings where the flats were. And they had a boat, and they used to go out on the sea for 2 or 3 days. Louise liked that, but as she got a little bit older, she got a bit bored, and she decided what she really would like to do. She'd like to be a bareback rider in a circus. She ran away from home and she actually joined a circus. And of course her dad and her mum were very, very frightened and worried. And they searched out and they got people looking and they brought her back. She wasn't very happy. She still thought she'd like to be an actress. She suddenly found out she could sing quite nicely. When she was old enough, she joined a company and they sang opera. And she used to love playing various parts in the various well-known operas. When she was good enough, she joined a big opera company and they travelled. One day they went to Amsterdam. She was singing in this opera and she was a very beautiful girl with lovely auburn hair, long hair, and this very nice young man with his opera cloak and his glasses decided he would like to take Louise out for supper, which was arranged, and they went. And you know what they did? They fell in love. And they actually got married. Now, Hendrik...
This story has the composition of any fairy tale. Faraway lands, journeys, discoveries, beauty, charm, love. But just as the countless tales before it, it stems from actuality. This girl, this singer-actress, took on many roles both on and off stage. Roles of a woman, a wife, a mother. She was my great-grandmother, the star of my childhood, and the plump woman hanging in a picture frame on my grandmother's wall in the UK.
Like our family going and trying to find out someone, they would have more authority. I'm sure.
It's through my grandmother that I first heard the fairy tale family story. But now it's time to see just how much fact lies behind the fiction. What facts amongst the fiction I do find come from here, Amsterdam City Archives. Within the treasure chests of microfiche, we unearthed a single document which lays claim to my name. Expertly navigated by my cousin, we find a lot of elegant, scrawly handwriting, and at last, information to bring my characters into our reality.
Now, Hendrik, as he was, his father and his family were not very, very pleased about this to begin with, to think that he was marrying someone who was on the stage.
Signatures on their wedding certificate are proof that A. somebody with my great-grandparents' names existed, and B, they actually got married. On 18th of August 1897, Louise took the name Van Lachterop, the name that she and Henrik brought to the UK, and the name which there lives 3 generations on.
You'll see that here, this is the name, with it, and that's behind it. Here, Lachterop, Van. That's how they write it in the indexes.
And
it's
what does Van Lachterop mean?
Van is off, from.
And Lachterop?
Lachterop. Laughs upon it.
That's what my name is?
Lachterop is laughs upon it.
Laugh upon it. What a wonderful ending to the perfect fairy tale. Except that this was nowhere near the end. Further archiving revealed that they did indeed laugh upon it. The stage, that is. They continued touring with their opera companies and also formed a trio with another male tenor. When they weren't on tour, they had a home here in Amsterdam, on what was once a canal called Overtoom. The canal was later redeveloped as a road while they were living there. Less aesthetically pleasing it may be, but still, this is where my great-grandparents lived when they returned from their various tours. Come rehearsal time, heaven knows what the neighbours must have thought when these two were in full swing. It must have been a domestic household like no other.
And then the Royal Netherlands Opera Company came over to England. And they liked it so much over here, they never went back. They went all over England to various opera houses, and they sang all sorts of operas. And then one awful day, Henrik had a throat infection. What happened? He lost his voice. He couldn't sing in the opera anymore. And so he hired a building in a place called Manchester, and he started his own little picture house. And people came, he sold that picture house, and he started another one. And that was really the beginning of the picture house.
But did she just want to? I mean, this is supposed to represent... Both story and documents have it that my great-grandparents remained in the UK for the rest of their lives. They continued with the picture houses. They had 2 sons. One of them married my storyteller grandmother. They in turn had 2 children, and their son became my father. The Van Lachtrops have remained in the UK since 1903. It was indeed a fairy tale start to the British family. Whether my great-grandparents actually met in Amsterdam's opera house while my great-grandmother was performing, I'll never know. But one thing's for sure. While the story lives on, I'll choose to believe it so.
Lachterop, yeah, I've never heard of this name.
Okay. It exists, I promise.
Yeah, I'm not
use it
sure.
in England anyway.
This is the house of the family of Van Lachterop, van Lachterop.
Lachterop.
Van Lachterop.
That's what it is. Does it mean anything? Lachterop?
No, it has no meaning at all.
In a way, it means like in the back, like achter is like behind.
You can also say it's from behind.
Achterop.
Well, lach is laugh.
Okay.
And well, terop. Well, up is in Dutch aan. En
ER is R.
Lachter is actually like laughing.
That means lach, that means smile. And op is aan. So you're smiling on. I don't know.